I love your attitude and I love your stage presence. I think you could work on your intonation because a lot of the times it wasn't very on. But no, you did a great job and I love you. And I was like, it's so fake. Welcome to Concert Season, the show where we talk with artists shaping Maine's music scene and beyond. I'm your host, Micah Thurston. Today we're joined by vocalist and music creative Bruce Wilson. He's the lead singer of Half Off. That is him. He was the runner-up of Central Maine Idol Season 4 and winner of Season 5. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. Hey, Bruce.
What's going on, Micah?
Oh, not too much. Just enjoying my Sunday. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's wet out, but we're all right.
Yeah, the weather's been pretty awful this weekend. Okay. So I just wanted to ask you, being such a prominent musician, you perform all across the state. You're pretty well known, have a big fan group following you. What got you into music to start with? Like, let's just jump in pretty early on.
Oh, that's a great question. I always enjoyed playing the trumpet in middle school. So I was a little band kid, and that was fun for a bit, but I didn't sing until I got to high school. What happened with me was I had the best music teacher in the world. So my freshman year of high school, I was doing jazz, and singing looked cool. I'd never done it. My professor, Mr. Medeiros, was the only person at the time I felt comfortable singing around because I hadn't done it. So I stayed after school, did my audition away from where anyone could hear, and he said, "Oh my God, like you got to keep going with this." And God bless him, he put me in the nice group there, and he was a great rock of support for that time, and was able to carry it on going forward. It's
Yeah, I
good.
mean, I also started with trumpet. That's what I did back in fourth and fifth grade, but it wasn't for me. So I'm kind of similar in that, where it wasn't until high school where it really became a stable part of the path for me.
The vocalist pipeline,
Yeah.
trumpet, ego death, singing.
Straight to you, Maine.
Straight to you, man.
I mean, do you have a favorite memory from those days that like what really like do you think back fond of?
What I think back fond of for those days is one of the first pieces of music that I did vocally was with that group. It was a jazz arrangement of Sunday Morning, and it had a very low bass part on it, which I was intrigued by, but my
Sounds like
teacher
something I
said
would
we're going to
love.
have, yes, but we weren't going to use it as a vocal part. We were going to use it for actually bring in a bass player from one of the other groups, and like, he's going to play that part. But I wanted to do it. So I asked him like, "Hey, if I can give me a week, if I can impress you in a week on this part, will you let me give it a shot?" And he's like, "Oh, of course, go for it." So I found the part track and I just grinded it all week and worked on my low range without knowing what I was doing. And I hit it, and he was super impressed. So I got to do that. It was really fun. I got an award for it at the state competition, Maine State. So it's like a piece of wood, which is pretty cool. Yeah,
It's
that's
that
definitely my favorite memory. Like,
that high school bass experience of just grind it till you find it.
yeah, and it's cool for him to be willing. That's a great reason it's a great reason that he was such a good teacher. Is willing to bend whatever rules that he came up with. Like, oh, we're gonna have a bass for this, and like, oh, if somebody wants to try it, like let him do it. So very cool of him.
Yeah, there's one thing about like the really good music teachers. Mine in particular was like really good about making everyone feel super valued, and if you wanted to try something, he was definitely down to let you do that. So that's just a great thing on this state's music education system.
Bless him.
Yeah.
Bless them all.
So yeah, what I know you studied what was it, new media in college?
Ooh, yes. Homie did his research.
I did do my research while I was there.
You were there.
So, how does that play into like how do you blend those together in your work that you do now, or are you more focusing on music or
So I think that the media skills from that degree, they're supplemental to the music part, you know. The art of music, like for me being a vocalist, the art is the art, right? But everything else is just background for it. Like, you know, I want to have a band, right? So I need to make a social media account and know how to do graphic design for posts. Like that's great. The media stuff comes in there. You know, need to learn how to do live sound. Media stuff comes in there. You know, I know how audio interfaces work and live mixing hardware works and all that. Like it ended up being a better combination than I thought. So I'm fortunate to have that. Like the more techie background helps as like a means to an end. Less stress when you're trying to make that art actually happen.
yeah, and especially like as a musician, kind of your storefront is your social media. So I can definitely see how that would be very beneficial.
Yeah,
So yeah, when you went to the University of Maine, you were in the University Singers, the premier auditioned choir there, as well as the Maine Steiners. What are some highlights of doing that? You did those for that for 4 years, right?
yeah, I did them each for four. Definitely wholesale my favorite part of college. Like forget the, you know, the major and minor and all that. Singers and Steiners is easily my favorite part. I mean, for me, the highlights are just the tours. You know, you work.
Oh yeah,
You know, I'm 27 now, and I'm like that. Even I recognize like, ah, we're a bunch of kids. You know, we're getting into drama, trying to put together tours, and like, you know, we do half a year's worth of work just for one show that we realized we had to throw together like a week before. Fun, you know. But those week-long tours that we did, which you know, for the listeners, uh, Steiner's was a you know the male vocal a cappella group, and about I think it was twice a year we would do a tour. So we would put together 1 week of tour stops at churches, schools, local like community centers, anywhere that would let us come and play. We'd put it all together and then either cram into a van or run with cars. Just so much fun. Very much felt like a fraternity without any of the ill things that come with being in a fraternity. Just get to spend a bunch of time with the friends doing what you love. Easily the best part, the
and
tours.
without paying for it.
Right, yeah. And I echo that for singers as well. You know, more curated tours there, but you know, you can just show up and do the art.
You know, I definitely those tours, especially with that era of Steiners, was a lot of fun. And even that era of singers, that was quite a good time. And yeah, like you mentioned, you know, you spend half a year planning this, and it's just for a show that feels kind of slapdash thrown together. This past year, I planned the Singers Spring Tour, and it was about 9 months total of work for for 3 days worth of concerts. And it was looking back, it was like, I mean, it was a great tour, but it was so much work,
Takes a lot of effort to make it happen.
and you
Like,
don't get paid for it.
no, no, you don't. But I think rarely musicians do it for the money.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a big passion project. Very glad that I did it. Very, very fun experience. Okay. So one thing that you did, you were one of the founders of, or like one of the first members of, was the new Southern Maine choir, Coastal Chorale. Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like joining a new startup choir, like something that was kind of a, a concept at the time?
Yeah, absolutely. What had happened was previous directors of the Steiners and UMaine Renaissance, the female counterpart group at UMaine, the directors of those groups got together and said, "Hey, we really miss this. I wonder if any singers or Steiners Renaissance alumni would want to get together." So they organized it all, and we started out with a dozen of us, three on a part, just meeting in, you know, parents of friends' houses, anywhere that had a piano. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. You get to see that spark reignite in people you haven't seen in a minute and really haven't had the opportunity to do music in a minute since college.
Yeah, and that was also like it was pretty post COVID. Well, when I say that, it was pretty much like right after most of the restrictions had been lifted, and music just wasn't really a thing that anyone was able to do. So I do see why there was that big gap in that market there.
Yeah, I think those restrictions loosening made people realize that they do have a deep longing for this thing that they haven't done in a minute. So really great to see that. And the choir has since expanded to 41 members.
Wow,
Yeah,
getting up
uh,
there.
getting up there. It's a lot different now, but it's still fantastic. The whole mission of the choir is to spread the love of music and that art and be a haven for those of us who want to keep that in our lives because without the structure of, college, a lot of people lose it. They stop doing it, forget how much they love it. So, yeah, really good on them for putting it together and making it so successful.
Yeah, especially like when you have to, because when you're in school or in church, like it is just kind of there and you know it's there and you can do it. But like once you're out of that and just kind of in the new world, you maybe move to a different city, you don't really know what your options are to continue doing that music. Um, so yeah, definitely I really appreciate that that's something that they started.
Yeah, absolutely.
So going a little bit closer to current day, you were the runner-up on season 4 of Central Maine Idol.
Yeah.
How how was touchy subject? How was that experience?
No, it's not too touchy. No, it was really great. I I don't know if you're putting the story together here for, the first and second half of it, but season 4 got to compete with 20 people. Central Maine Idol is a competition in Hallowell, Maine. It's run out of a bar called The Quarry. Uh, it's just a mini American Idol themed. You go and do your songs in front of judges, and they stack them up against each other, and eventually there's a winner. I had a blast doing that. Really, just a fun avenue to do more solo performance. I feel a lot of people got to scratch that itch during the competition. And though I did not win, I got to do all of the contest pieces. Like I got to do all of the performances, so I'm very happy with that. Just great to be able to perform for friends and family who want to make the trip. It's really nice. And one of our friends won it, so that's good. I would definitely prefer that it was one of us, so I'm glad that we got to take home the money.
Yeah, so to everyone who doesn't know, like you said, it is a competition. Every week, multiple people get eliminated and they move forward, and there's different themed weeks and stuff like that. So he was one of the two runner-ups for season 4. But yeah, let's talk about season 5.
Yeah,
You did season 5 as well.
I did. And I'm staring at my big check here in my room. Yeah, I won season 5. I learned a lot about the way they do the competition and a lot about myself as a vocalist. Yeah, got to do the whole contest again and got to win it this time. One of the other finalists was the same from the previous year, which was interesting. So she did it again and ran the whole journey. So it's great to see some familiar faces and sing with the same people again. But yeah, lovely competition. For me, I think what I learned from the previous year going into this one is just planning and stage presence. When you're up there and there's no band or other people, it's just you and a karaoke track, basically. So a lot of imagination, a lot of planning for stage movement and kind of selling it without anyone's energy to feed off. So worked on that a lot, got some good advice and experience from people last year and used it to cruise forward, get my big check.
Yeah, it is definitely one of the most awkward feelings just being up there and there's an interlude or a play out and you just don't know what to do. It's just a really uncomfortable experience in general because that's not how most performing like in the real world would work unless you're doing something like you're a wedding singer but you don't have a band, you only do it with karaoke tracks. So it's like it's so unnatural and unnerving. But no, you absolutely killed doing. You had such a great stage presence.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Tried my best. I'll tell you, Micah, what I learned. This is the biggest truth I learned in the 2 years of doing this competition was can I say a profane word?
Go ahead.
I learned doing the country week, the country themed week, I went to buy a cowboy hat. And that's when I learned I have a big fucking head. I had to custom order the biggest hat to be bigger, and it barely fits my head. But I got to use that hat 2 years in a row. That's what they don't tell you. The key of losing the first year is you get to use your fun, cool hat again. Biggest truth.
I guess so. Yeah. If at first you don't succeed, try again with the same hat.
First, you don't succeed, get a bigger head.
Yeah. So do you think your time doing Central Maine Idol over the last 2 years has that improved your performance skills? Has that changed how you approach doing things as a musician? Like, how do you think that's influenced you?
It has monumentally changed the way I think about performance. And it's really because of those limitations that we just discussed. You know, you don't have anyone else up there with you whose energy you can feed off. So every decision has to be kind of made ahead of time if you want to sell it correctly. And, you know, it's more of those skills that are supplemental to singing as an art form. You know, you got to stand up there, you got to be nice to look at, comfy, motivated, and happy all at the same time. So what I learned from doing that was just the intense planning. Like for any of my later performances in CMI, I'd write down all my stage moves, where I want to be at what point in the song, what I should be doing with my hands and arms, you know, outstretch here and point here and do that. Things that I didn't think about before being in that competition. And for the singing side of it, kind of the same piece, less performance based, but just for the art, really, really scrutinizing the way that I'm singing. You know, it's very unique receiving negative feedback on a stage. Usually, you know, if you go and do a performance, nobody's gonna stand up. Hey, man, that sucked. Like that. There's something lacking there. Like, nah, you don't. You never get that. So I was ready to get slapped in the face with that, and it doesn't feel good. But learning to kind of deflect that and use it positively was a good skill to learn. Like, oh, they didn't like it because of this. You know, oh, I can just spend more time preparing for that. Do the same thing with the vocals. Like I'm writing like vowels, like my vowels and diphthongs, writing my cutoffs, my tone. Like because of the fierce competition, it made me want to become a stronger vocalist and stronger competitor. So altogether, yes, learned a lot, changed the way that I approach music and performance. So kind of glad I got to do it twice, honestly.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm so one tracked in the type of music that I do. Um, I mean, even then, that one track, there's multiple smaller tracks, but it's all pretty narrow in the classical field. Um, but you're just one of those vocalists where you put anything in front of you and you'll sing it and you'll sing it well. So do you think like what was the most challenging of the genres that you had to perform?
Oh, dude. Disco. Holy shit.
Don't tell me about disco.
I think it was, yeah. You know.
to everyone at home, I got eliminated during Disco Week. I was also in season 5 of Central Maine Idol, and looking back on it, um, there's a song that I totally should have chosen, and I totally didn't think of it at all until about 3 weeks after the competition. And I was kicking myself. I'm like, why didn't I sing that instead?
Yeah, disco. I think disco made fools of everybody. Um, because I think it is, you know, it's inherently a performance genre. Like you think of disco, you think of, the outfits of the time and the dance moves. Like the songs are all kind of, disco, whatever. So that was a big test because of that. Like, okay, I have to pick the right outfit and like really feel it. So that was a challenge. I did know the moment I saw the category, I was like, if I make it in the competition this year, I'm doing Disco Inferno. I sent the email the second after they called my name the week prior that I made it through. Like Bruce Wilson, click, sent the email. No chance. I'm not doing that song. I am falling on my face. Uh,
It's just, yeah, like you said, it's not really a category about singing. It's all about
yeah,
the dance. That's why people went to disco clubs. Like they went to dance, not to listen to the
yeah, it's
music.
dance music. They liked that week though. I think you definitely have to make a fool of yourself.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, wrapping back to your question too, just the multi genres and how to approach that is for me. I think it's just making it your own. I like to learn multiple genres. I definitely pride myself on like having a genre diversity, but it stems from listening to a lot of different music and truly enjoying a lot of different music. Like, you're wrapping around those tools for like, oh, country week, oh, I'm cool. I'm gonna change my timbre dramatically for this. My timbre and my vowel shapes and the way that I'm actually using my soft palette. Like those are all country themed things that are very technical. It's like that helps a lot, like making those decisions and yeah, just knowing the technical back half of like what is the defining part of this genre and what can I do to sit myself in it better. And I was happy that in that competition, oftentimes the judges would recognize that there was an intellectual approach happening and not just like, man, this guy sings good. How does he do the country? So the recognition was nice where it's like, yeah, you really thought about this. Like, yes, awesome. Like, uh, I like that part of it a lot.
Yeah, one thing, like especially when I do my small number of country songs that I do, um, just the way that I elongate some of my diphthongs, I just think
Yes.
about it's like it sounds so disgusting in my head, but like listening to it back to a recording of it, I'm like, no, that just sounds like country.
Yeah. It's like, didn't we both did Josh Turner songs, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, Micah did Your Man and I did Why Don't We Just Dance. But we have the same choir background too. So it's like I've got the song Why Don't We Just Dance? This word why in a choir setting, you would hear it as like they would say wah, very tall vowel. But in a country setting, like wah, like, it's so different. And if you sang it the wrong way, it wouldn't make sense. So
Yeah, it's like in Your Man, it's the way that I love you, but it's like the way that I love you.
yeah.
It's like just so yeah, country's a weird one, man.
It's a great excuse for us to show off our low ranges though. I feel like
Yeah.
that's
Baby lock them doors.
yeah. Oh,
Oh man.
that was a fun week.
I do love that song though. It's one of the few country songs that I can stomach.
It's it's so good. Gets people hyped up when that note is hit.
Mm.
Like,
And it's
yes.
like from the drop of the song too. So like they're expecting it, and if you can hit it, you can hit it. Oh yeah. So moving on back to like a bit more current. Starting next week, you're going to be a judge on Teen Maine Idol.
I am. I'm gonna be a judge on Teen Maine Idol.
Yeah, can you tell us about that whole process? Like what they're expecting from that, what the prize for that's going to be, how many contestants, stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. Um, so it's a dozen contestants, age 13 to 17, so teens. And it's a $5,000 prize. It's going to be a bond that they can cash in when they turn 18, and as well, they would receive a laptop that they could use for schooling and whatever. But yeah, I'll be one of four judges, eliminating probably three each week until we're down to our same thing with the Central Maine, until we're down to three finalists, and we'll have them compete against each other. So yeah, my job will be the back end of that, which is really interesting to look at. Got to keep track of vocal performance and stage presence, song choice, and all these different categories that we want to write down on the paper and come up with a verdict. It's definitely going to be a new skill, learning how to judge and communicate judgments in a constructive way. I'm excited to do it.
Especially the children. That's going to be. I would struggle with that.
Yeah, I definitely feel the struggle coming. I'm not a mean person, so I'm not gonna be mean to them.
You're not gonna be Simon Cowell over there, right. But
yeah, I want to make the critique like meaningful and accessible. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If I think that they could improve on something, I want to let them know that and give like two quick things. Hey, you could, you didn't do as well with this piece, but you could easily improve it by working on this, and we want to see that next week.
You could always do the compliment sandwich, which feels, and I'm like being so used to having to do it, because at the university we have recital lab, and they changed it to where there's now two sessions. One of it's like full music program, and the other one's just the vocalists. But we give feedback after the vocalist one, and everyone just does a compliment sandwich. And it's really difficult when that like people are struggling to find positive things to say, because there's a lot fewer compliment sandwiches. And it's like also when the negative filling in that is really tough.
Oh Lord.
And it's like, I love your attitude and I love your stage presence. I think you could work on your intonation, because a lot of the times it wasn't very on. But no, you did a great job and I love you. And I was like, it's so fake.
Yeah.
So you got to watch out for that one. But
especially the intonation word, which is your intonation could use some words. Like, hey, that kind of sounded like
you're flat.
Like, yeah. It's
like, no.
Return to the fundamentals. And maybe my compliment sandwich will look like something out of old Scooby-Doo. Like just one bread and then 3 feet of meat and cheese. God damn.
As long as you start with a compliment and end with a compliment, I guess it works.
I don't want them to feel bad. We just had to write up a thing since it got rained out that they're going to post like throughout the week. It was like, give some words of motivation and advice. And, mine was largely like, hey, good job making it here. It takes a lot to, make yourself do it. It's very vulnerable.
Audition.
Yeah.
Auditions are terrifying.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's a very vulnerable thing.
That audition is so intense.
Yes.
You just walk in and sing a cappella. That's it. No starting pitch, no nothing. You just go in and do it.
Yeah, it's rugged. They made it through that, and in these formative years, I would hate for judgment to negatively impact somebody's view on art and, music being accessible. If they like singing and they got this far, I don't want them to hear, sounds kind of bad, and then give it up. But I think they're headstrong, so give it to them gently if they need it, and watch them grow,
Yeah, it's definitely takes a lot of, well, I don't know if nerve is the right word for it. Um, Confidence to do a competition like that.
Yes.
Is this also happening at the quarry?
Yes, it is.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, also just even doing it, performing on stage, especially at that age. I mean, I didn't do it. I couldn't really imagine doing it. It's like the most thing that I did was choir or a musical. Although I did the talent show and I had to sing for that, but it's not a bunch of, well, it is a bunch of strangers, but it's a bunch of like not that far removed strangers
Yeah.
versus being on stage at the quarry and it's a bunch of strangers and it's also live streamed and recorded. And yeah, I wouldn't do that if I was a kid.
Oh, God, no.
So into a bit more of your personal work and your other music groups. Um, you are the lead singer of is it a rock band? Indie
Yeah.
rock?
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to call it.
Yeah. Of an indie rock band, Half Off. I know you guys took a bit of a hiatus, but you're back to doing fairly regular performances. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, started half off in, I believe, 2021. So we've been around for about 4 years. Started down in southern Maine in the Portland area. And yeah, we do punk rock, progressive rock, and some alt rock, and a lot of covers, but we put out an 8 song EP, or rather two 4 song EPs. And yeah, it's great to be in the local scene, get to play at, different bars and spaces, smaller venues down in the Portland area. Um, yeah, really great excuse to get out in the summer, share the art, share the love. It's a happening scene down there. A lot of people doing it, so you get to meet a lot of cool folks and just kind of show off. So
Mm.
it's been great. Had a lot of support from friends and family doing it, and yeah, it definitely is needed to scratch that deep itch of solo performance.
Yeah, the Portland music scene's on it. Well, compared to where I live, which is the middle of nowhere, Maine. Um, it's pretty good, especially like there's a ton of places where you can perform. Um, so I'm a little jealous of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of heart. There's a lot of heart down there with you'll go see someone perform and then you'll see them at your performance the next week, people are going out and making a point to go see live music. It's
Mm,
like familiar faces in the crowd after a while. So it's
that's
good
quite
for
nice.
good for everybody. Yeah.
Because I mean, Portland's not big,
No.
uh, but it's not small. But it still has that kind of occasional small town vibe where
Yes.
you see the same people over and over and over again. Uh,
Definitely.
so I know you mentioned before we started recording some new projects that you're working on. Do you want to share anything about that?
Yeah. I'm in a new project called Grist that's made from a few people down in the southern Maine scene from other bands that are in and around. Some people from like Midnight Breakfast and Yoki, that kind of sphere. We just had our first show at the Aphodian Theater down in Portland a couple weeks ago, and that went really well. So excited to keep going with that. Still on vocals, but a much different vibe in the group. Less rock than it is like pretty alternative indie. Somebody called it medieval grunge, which I think is a good
Medieval
descriptor.
grunge.
Yeah,
I'm
uh,
thoroughly intrigued by that.
yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah, I'm not good with genres, you know.
It's like I can't even imagine what that would be.
Yeah. Hopefully, time will tell. Hopefully we
Oh,
can get something out there.
I'm looking forward to hearing it.
But yeah, not much else on that. That's about it. But fun to have multiple avenues.
All right. So what's just a couple of bits of advice that you give some young singers who are starting out, whether they're doing their first choir or they're trying to start a band, or like what would you give advice to just new singers?
Just to enjoy it. Enjoy every second of it. You want to start a band, that's awesome. Just enjoy every bit. If you're a vocalist and you want to start a band, you're gonna have to do some cover songs, anything like that. But don't lose a spark. Do it because you love it. You want to join the choir. Just let yourself fall in love with it. It can be very easy to scrutinize yourself. It is art, but performance art is meant to be fun. It's meant to be enjoyed. And if you do enjoy it, you will work hard on all of it very naturally. In terms of, getting better at your craft and starting a band or joining a group, go out and watch groups. Listen to everything you can. You see a local group's going to perform, make a point, put it in your schedule. Go see local groups, go talk to people. They love it when people talk to you after the show. Tell them, I like this song you did. Get to know people. Be a part of the scene. You'll lose any lingering imposter syndrome and feel great about the whole thing. Everybody wins.
That's some wonderful advice. But on the theme of advice, if you could go back and give your younger self any advice, we could go high school or maybe college on that. What would it be?
Probably just work hard and take time to communicate, kind of echoing that broad advice from earlier. It's easy to want to do it all yourself. Accepting critique can be a challenge. If you're very tied, you have your ego tied up in your art, can be easy to kind of lose sight of anything, your relationships with people who you're doing that art with, or your own pride. Younger me, I guess I would just say keep it in check. Talk to people and, try and get better at your own craft. Like go take some vocal lessons, why not? There's always something new to learn. Never stop growing.
Yeah. And also, like, there's this weird kind of stigma, especially like around younger people, where if you're taking vocal lessons, it's because you're a bad singer. Or that's something that I picked up just from my area locally. Definitely not the case. So just wanted to stress that one.
Yeah.
You're doing it to get better. It doesn't mean that you're bad.
I'm going to get vocal lessons this month.
Yeah.
Like, it's just good. It's like going to the doctor, or the dentist or whatever. Do it every so often. Make sure you're doing things right. Go in with an open mind. Like, you're gonna learn more. You're just gonna get better. Do it, do it, do it.
All right. Well, Bruce, it's been absolutely wonderful to talk to you about, your musical journey, from, high school all the way up till current day where you're a judge in a music competition. Just to close out the show, one thing that I wanted to do was we're going to do a fun little game if you're down for that.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So I have before me a checklist. There are 20 questions on it.
Oh boy.
They are true or false. And you have to get 10 of those 20 correct. And if you do, I will Venmo you $20.
Big.
It's
true or false. That's just like guessing average, right? You just said true for everyone.
We could. Okay, I don't like this. This is metagaming.
I won't metagame it. I won't metagame it.
Okay. I should set a timer. I'm not going to do that. That's too much work. Let's just jump in. Claudio Monteverdi is often credited with composing the first major opera, L'Orfeo.
That's true or false. I don't know who these people are. True.
Okay. J.S. Bach wrote the Well-Tempered Clavier to demonstrate just intonation.
Oh, God. True. I don't know, man.
Joseph Haydn is sometimes called Papa Haydn.
Oh, man. It's got to be false.
Uh, Beethoven's Eroica Symphony was originally dedicated to Napoleon Bonaparte.
Oh, true.
A madrigal is a sacred choral work intended for the church.
False. Right?
Schoenberg invented the 12-tone system.
True. I don't know.
The premiere of Stravinsky's The Rite of Spring caused a near riot in Paris in 1913.
I feel like this one you probably changed the date on. I'm going false. It's probably like 1 year different than that.
The Bayreuth Festival Theater was designed for the operas of Richard Wagner.
False.
In Baroque music, basso continuo refers to a recurring orchestral theme.
True.
Duke Ellington was a leading figure of the big band swing era in jazz.
True. Hopefully.
Edgar Varèse's ionization included non-traditional instruments like sirens and anvils.
True.
The bel canto singing style originated in Germany.
False.
Richard Strauss composed Also sprach Zarathustra.
True.
Yeah. Claude Debussy was a member of the French composer group Les Six.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going true.
Leonard Bernstein composed the score for West Side Story.
That guy from Big Bang Theory? Yeah, that's true.
The Mighty Five were a group of 20th century French composers.
False.
Gregorian chant was originally notated using neumes.
Man, what's a neum?
I don't know.
True.
Samuel Barber's Adagio for Strings began life as a part of a string quartet.
True.
Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie were pioneers of the bebop in the 1940s.
Say that second name again.
Dizzy Gillespie?
Yeah. I thought you snuck Diddy in there. It's going to be false. We'll go with true.
Charles Ives was an English composer famous for operas like Peter Grimes.
True.
Well, I think you definitely got 10, but I'm not going to see.
I literally could not tell you the answer to any of those questions. I didn't know a single one of those.
What do you think you got out of 20?
12.
You got 13.
Let's go.
That was
That's funny.
you said it was going to be easy, and then you got one correct and then two incorrect, and I'm like, oh, I might not have to Venmo Bruce.
Nah, you can keep the money, man. I got big check to keep me warm. I'm just happy to
use it as a blanket.
Yeah, like a big cardboard blanket.
Oh man, so I assume they gave you the big one, and then also a small one that you can actually deposit.
Yeah, I got a small real check. You know, I used to be against big banks until I got this big check. There's nowhere to cash it. Sitting on the money.
I do remember after the first night of Singer's Choice, after you did your first performance for the entire competition, I asked you what you were going to do with that $10,000.
I'm ashamed to say, Micah, that I didn't follow through on what I said then, which was I'm gonna buy 1,000 beers.
That's a damn shame.
Yeah, you know, you live, you learn, you dream.
Oh well. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. This has been concert season. From the practice room, my name is Micah. This has been Bruce, and we will see you guys in the near future.
Bye-bye.